Pokemon Battle Revolution is a Gen 4 battle sim released in 2006 in Japan, or '07 outside of Japan, on the Nintendo Wii. It's akin to that of the Stadium 1 and 2 games, with a battle announcer that I love and I found all of his voice lines for. So many voice lines. You could import your Pokemon from DPP to clear the game, or the game offers you 6 rental battle passes, eventually, with 6 predetermined Pokemon, movesets, abilities, held items, and natures are actually randomized. Most of these Pokemon kinda suck. To win, you challenge a series of Colosseums. At the end, usually after 6 battles in a row, the Colosseum leaders with stronger Pokemon fight you. Today, we're gonna try beating the game as a Nuzlocke. Now, a problem with Nuzlocking this game, however, is that once you enter a Colosseum, the only way to exit, say if you want to alter your team of 6, is by retiring, where your progress will be completely lost. This means the team you bring with you has to tough it out for all 7 battles. The format for singles is bring 6, pick 3, so as long as you have 3 still alive, you can keep going. For doubles, it's bring 6, pick 4. So yeah, as you can see, this game isn't exactly built for Nuzlocking. Just never faint and then there'll be no problem, right? Let's go over the rules before beginning. Fainting equals death, like every other Nuzlocke out there. Unlocking new passes in Gateway Coliseum is not part of the Nuzlocke. You can continue even if you only have 1 or 2 Pokemon alive, but if a dead Pokemon is ever sent out, the player must retire next turn and make a new team. Customize your pass with the points you get. Style is paramount, and you can't look up the opponent's teams. While I did have a general idea of what some NPCs had, as I've played the game and watched playthroughs before, with 9 Colosseums, most of which are 7 battles long, there's plenty of time for it all to go wrong.
It couldn't take it! It's down!
We create our save file, choose our name, and are given a choice. Which pass do we take? One will be given for free, the other we need to unlock at Gateway Coliseum. So the tech is, take the worst team of the 2, so when we have to unlock the other one, we have at least a slightly better team. We take Cindy because Nate I think is a bit better here thanks to Monferno with its awesome coverage, and the U-turning intimidates Staravia. Meanwhile, Cindy doesn't have anything too impressive. Pidgeot is probably her best Pokemon due to its higher base stat total, and ours as well is Adamant Nature. Before properly beginning the Nuzlocke, we go to Gateway Coliseum to obtain Nate's pass. It's not part of the Nuzlocke, so let's skip through it. After beating Joe, the Colosseum leader, we've obtained Nate's pass. We'll have to do this 4 more times to unlock the other 4 rental passes, by the way. Can't wait for that, but now we can actually begin the Nuzlocke. Main Street Coliseum. It should be pretty easy. All I remember is that the boss has a Pachirisu outfit and, well, a Pachirisu on our team. Here's our lineup. I wanted to ensure we use Monferno with its awesome coverage, Pidgeot with its high base stats, and Staravia for Intimidate U-turn. Grottle and Prinplup I feel are a bit better than their Cantonian counterparts, and Luxio, since I felt an electric type, could be good here. On to our first opponent, Passionate Rider Zachary. It's about what I expected. Butterfree being one of the biggest threats is a good sign. Since it's a bring 6 pick 3 format, I wanted to lead with a Mon that I think has a solid matchup into anything Zachary could lead. In this case, Pidgeot looks like it's likely to clean sweep this guy. Luxio for the flying Pokemon and Prinplup for the fires. Should be simple enough. Leading with Pidgeot immediately pays off as they lead with Butterfree. We can handily outspeed and one-shot with Aerial Ace. Zachary in response is trying to one-down me and sends out Pidgeotto second. An easy task for Pidgeot, but out of respect for it being the first battle, we'll play cautious and swap to Luxio. Tank the Twister and retaliate with a one-shot Spark. We will definitely be wanting to switch out and preserve HP a lot, compared to a regular in-game Nuzlocke at least, even if here it wasn't necessary. Lastly, Smeargle is sent out. We get outsped and Smeargle uses Recycle? The AI in this game, at least early on, isn't great, so oftentimes we can gain 3 turns as they essentially pass. Flip side to that is, switching out could end up being a misplay, as it is hard to predict what they'll do, so we'll need to play smart but be careful not to overthink things. Either way, that's 1 battle down, 6 more to go. As you might expect, we meet with little resistance in the following battles. In Battle 3, a little bit of a spooky matchup with my lead Pidgeot into their Celio. It could get dicey, swapping to Luxio and hoping we don't get 2-shot by an Aurora Beam, Water Pulse or something of that nature, only to be met with a Track. We spark them into the red and Celio again uses Attract. I'm sorry Celio, if it were up to me, I'd allow that move to work, but thank you for turning a somewhat scary encounter into a free win. Continuing on, we're clowning the competition, one-shotting left, right and centre, until before we know it, we're at the Colosseum leader Taylor. Her team consists of Pachirisu, Luxio, Luvdisc, Jigglypuff, Kirlia, and Bonsly. This doesn't look too threatening, it is only the first boss after all, though Pachirisu and Luxio are decent compared to what we have been fighting. Fingers crossed she doesn't bring them, but we still need to account for the possibility. Our team ends up being Grottle to resist the electrics, and have a neutral or better matchup to the rest of our team, Monferno for the high power Fire Punch and a great overall diverse moveset, lastly, Luxio as an additional electric resist, and having good matchups against her whole team. It'd be great to clear the first Colosseum with 0 deaths, and I think we have a solid chance. I send out Grottle and Taylor leads with her Luxio. I'd have rather seen one of her baby Pokemon, but we led with a Grass type for this exact reason. The plan is simple, Leech Seed, then Razor Leaf.
The battle begins. The red corner makes the first attack. A smashing blow. The blue corner, frozen solid.
Are you kidding me? Ice Fang never even crossed my mind, and they freeze us straight away? So we have to swap out now. I opt for Monferno to resist Ice Fang. Monferno swaps in, and there's Swagger. Now we're again in a very scary situation. Hitting ourselves may just be lethal, comboed with a stab attack from Luxio, and this battle is really quickly turning sour. Now without much choice I swap into Luxio, hoping we can come out on top in the mirror match. And as I feared, we're now starting at roughly 70% health. Thankfully, Rivalry is working in our favour, boosting all of our attacks by 25%. If we outspeed, we should be okay, and thankfully, we do go first. Bite does a surprising amount of damage. A 2-hit KO is better than what I was expecting. We don't get the Bite flinch, and they return with an Ice Fang, but luckily no freeze this time. Next turn, our Luxio goes first again and ends it with a Bite. Out next, Bonsly, which we swap out into Monferno. Grass Knot should KO in 2 hits. It has low special defense, and Grass Knot base power is 40 or 48 including our held item, the Meadow Plate. As predicted, we bring Bronzely into the yellow and it retaliates with Rock Throw, dealing roughly a third of our HP. Next turn, we KO with a follow-up Grass Knot. All that's left between us winning the first Colosseum is Taylor's final Pokemon. The final hurdle, the last surprise! Luvdisc! I am unironically scared. Stat-wise it is just speed, but Monferno is weak to water and has poor defenses. Grottle is frozen and Luxio is on low health, so switching to them means they have to tank 2 water moves. Luxio isn't exactly tanky itself. A tough call, but I go to Grottle. Its HP is decent and we'll have many turns to thaw out. We just need to believe. Well, after setting up the rain, Luvdisc starts spamming Water Pulse, chipping us down and eventually confusing us. Even if we thaw, at this point it's a coin flip if Grottle will live. Luvdisc takes it to the red, and on the final turn, we thaw? Okay Grottle, now's your time buddy. Frozen, frozen, frozen. Hits self and dies. We lost our first Pokemon to a freaking Luvdisc. Now everyone's gonna laugh at me online. Whatever. At least now we can send in Luxio safely and Spark. Surely a one-shot. And luckily the timing is such that instead of Water Pulsing, Luvdisc opts for Rain Dance, allowing us to Spark safely to victory. Main Street Coliseum cleared, 1 down, only 8 more to go. If the first Coliseum leader gave us this much trouble though, I'm starting to think that this challenge may not go as smoothly as I was hoping. Waterfall Coliseum is up next, and it has an interesting gimmick. It's still single battle, but the format is 1v1s, aka if you have a bad matchup, sorry but you can't switch, win or die trying. This Coliseum scares me. It easily could start a domino effect of deaths if we have one bad matchup early. Before heading in, we need to sort out our team. Another aspect that's fun about this challenge is the constant rearranging of our team members to best fit whatever the theme the Colosseum is. From my recollection, this place has a fair amount of water types. I mean, it is Waterfall Coliseum, so swapping out replacement for Grottle is simple. Ivysaur should do the trick, and the rest of the team is unchanged from Main Street Coliseum. First battle, we see a lot of grass and electric types. The thought process here is to bring Pokemon that have the best matchups against the opponent's team as a whole. AKA, Prinplup sucks here, and Pidgeot isn't great since it beats 3 but loses probably to the other 3. Bringing Monferno seems like a decent pick. Ivysaur second and Luxio, while not great against the grass types, is a much better worst case scenario to deal with than Prinplup going against Sunflora, or Pidgeot and Staravia versus Intimidate Luxio. So far we've been acing these matchups. The lack of trainers Pokemon type diversity is working wonders here, and before we know it, we've cruised to the semi-finals. But just before reaching the Colosseum leader, on the final Pokemon, our worst matchup yet happens. My Monferno versus their Celio. Now, we have Metal Plate boosted Grass Knots, and Celio is chunky, making Grass Knot 80 base power. Hoping for the best, we outspeed, do massive damage, but we don't quite get the KO. Then Water Pulse. We survive it. Whoa, that gave me quite the scare. A crit, we died. Confused us, we maybe died. We got lucky there. Easily could have lost one of our best Pokemon. The leader of this place, Marina, she's a team of Corsola, Marill, Farfetch'd, Aipom, Wormadam, Sandycloak, and Poliwhirl. No matter what we do here, there's rough matchups for each of our team members. I picked Monferno to lead due to Grass not handling the water types, a bit risky, but I have confidence in him. Pidgeot second to power through those weaker mons. It can deal with anything bar Corsola. Well, maybe Corsola as well, because it is in fact just a Corsola. And Luxio third, praying that it matches up with anything except the Wormadam. Round 1, Monferno versus Aipom. The first turn Fake Out does a bit more than I'm comfortable with. Turn 2 we Mach Punch. Unfortunately, Aipom does just hang on, but fortunately it misses with Fury Swipes. If it had landed all 5, maybe that could have KO'd us. Anyway, next turn we Mach Punch and grab the first win of the match. Second out, my Pidgeot versus their Wormadam. An open and shut case it seems, until it hits us with Rock Blast? Only 2 hits. Even 5 wouldn't have been enough, but thank you for the small scare. 2 wins, 1 to go. Third out, my Luxio versus their Corsola. An open and shut case, but like, even more open and shut. We spark, we crit. Corsola feints doing absolutely nothing. Second Coliseum turned out to not be that scary at all. It definitely had the potential to be, but overall we had good matchups throughout. And as a reward for clearing Waterfall, 2 new rental passes have been unlocked. Beginning Trainer Tommy and New Star Daisy. Going over the team members briefly, Tommy uses Sandslash, rather unmarkable Pokemon, but Stab Dig is decent. Then my boy Haunter, with S tier damage output for this game standard, in Stab Sludge Bomb. Decent Giga Drain coverage, and Diamond and Pearl, 70% accurate Hypnosis, boosted to 77% thank you to the Wide Lens held item. Metang, while rather weak, has great resistances thanks to its steel typing. B-Barrel with respectable stab attacks and Hyperfang and Waterfall could be a useful member. Rotom has an awesome Ghost Electric typing and Levitate, good resists and only 2 weaknesses. Reflect is useful team support, and while its stab options aren't amazing, Omni boosting Ominous Wind and usually boosting Charge Beam could do the trick. Lastly, Mightyena. Intimidate is its best asset. Protect is also awesome for double battles, which are common later on. Bite Stab is okay and Elemental Fan coverage is nice, though shame it's modest natured. For Daisy's pass we have Beautiful Eye. Not great, but Power Herb Solar Beam is something, though it's frail and not that fast. There's Golbat with balanced stats and 4 differently typed attacking moves. Access to U-turn is very handy, so overall not bad. Blossom has high stats and solid special attack. Spamming Energy Ball will provide solid damage output. And of course protecting doubles is great. Sneasel with Focus Sash, one of the best Pokemon in the game. Stab, Ice Punch and fast bites. It will net free turns from flinches. And will tank any 1 hit guaranteed. There's Lopunny with decent stats. Moves aren't that great, but normal fighting is decent coverage. Mainly just have to worry about the ghosts. And with Big Root Drain Punch, it can heal off more damage than you think. Lastly, Lumineon. Underrated pick I feel. It's less versatile than the water type starters, but has higher stats, Stab Surf and Rain Dance, so its damage output can be more than you'd expect. After unlocking both of these passes, we move on to the third Colosseum. Neon Coliseum. This place is a rather unique gimmick. Firstly, it's double battles, so bring 6, pick 4 this time. Except picking your team isn't so simple. You're brought to a roulette wheel with 12 slots on it, each with an icon of yours and the opponent's Pokemon. To pick, you must drop your cursor onto the spinning wheel, and after a few seconds it lands on a Pokemon, and that will be what you use for the battle. This may raise a few questions, such as, what if the opponent uses your Pokemon and you feint them? Does that count as a death? Well, no, because that's out of my control. Even if I picked all 4 of my Pokemon, the AI could still pick 2 of mine and there's nothing I could do about it. So it would just be unfair and unfun. Instead, if I use my Pokemon in battle and they faint, they are dead. So I want to avoid doing that at all costs then. Instead, using 4 of my opponent's Pokemon. Then the battle becomes risk-free. Sounds simple, right? Just time your presses correctly and this whole Colosseum is safe. Well, before starting this Colosseum I certainly thought it'd be like that, but it turns out it's easier said than done. Before we begin, I changed up the team. Since I plan on using my opponent's Pokemon, it makes sense to make a rent pass with the 6 worst Pokemon I have. This means if we accidentally pick one of our Pokemon and they die, it won't feel as bad. So the team I've cobbled together is Rhyhorn, Bibarel, Gabite, Lopunny, Metang and Beautifly. Actually, thinking about it now in post, this team's got some decent Pokemon. Before we begin, it's time for the Wheel of Misfortune. Maybe. There's a timing to it, from what I've heard. You want to put your cursor on 5 o'clock and press the button when the Pokemon you want at 9 o'clock appears. All I need to do is believe in my timing. Press the button and... Metang. Not only is it one of my Pokemon, but it's being sent out first. They land Snover. Second pick is Beedrill and they get my Gabite. This is what I'm looking for. I couldn't care less if Beedrill faints. Third pick, aiming for Bastiodon, but I barely miss, hitting the question mark spot where Metang used to be. I think it picks a random Pokemon then, as it gave me Carnivine. Fine, not the one I wanted, but at least it's not another one of my Pokemon. They get Lopunny, and finally, I land Plusle, and they get my Rhyhorn. Plusle looks pretty bad in this fight, and while I'm okay if the bottom 3 Pokemon on our team faint, we will have to play very carefully to ensure Metang's survival. Right off the bat, Snover's Snow Warning ability sets up Hail, and puts my Metang on a timer. And this is Gen 4, where weather caused by abilities last forever. Knowing Gabite's moveset, it's not too much of a threat to Metang, so letting it live for the time being may be the right play. It's an interesting pro here, where we can know more about the enemy's team. Beedrill's set doesn't look amazing, but it could be worse. Out for Toxic Spikes, knowing the opponent doesn't have any Poison Mons in the back to absorb them. Turn 1 plays out, and while Metang is targeted by an Air Release, thanks to it being Steel type, it doesn't take much damage. In retaliation, Metal Claw crits Snover and it goes down in 1. Good start, but now Lopunny comes out. Since it's our Pokemon, we know its moveset, and the worst it can do is Drain Punch. We continue the strat of ignoring Gabite and gang up on Lopunny, but not surprisingly it outspeeds and Dizzy Punches Beedrill, landing a crit of its own, taking it out. Now we need to decide who to send in next, Carnivine or Plusle. Checking their moves reveals we're actually in a far worse spot than it looks like. Carnivine's only attack is Spit Up, requiring at least 1 turn of setup with Stockpile, and Plusle's only attack is Fling, holding a Persian Berry, which gives the Fling a mighty base power of 10. Neither option seems good, so I send out Plusle, as it can at least buff Metang's damage with Helping Hand. Which it does, but immediately is attacked by both Lopunny and Gabite, dying to a crit Dragon Pulse. Thank you for being a damage sponge, Plusle. And I believe Helping Hand should still boost Metal Claw. We don't get the 5% miss, and it brings Lopunny's health down to just where we need it, fainting from the hail at the end of the turn. And now it's both of our last 2 Pokemon, my Metang and Carnivine versus their Gabite and Rhyhorn. Right away, scared of a ground move, I Magnet Rise on Metang. Though in hindsight, this play wasn't really needed just yet, as Metang outspeeds Rhyhorn and it only knows Dig. Gabite chips Metang down below half health with another Air Release. Carnivine stockpiles, getting ready for next turn, and Rhyhorn Horn attacks Carnivine, doing little damage thanks to Stockpile. Now it's time to turn this into a 2v1, Psychic on Gabite for guaranteed damage, and Spit Up, stronger than I expected at 100 base power at 1 Stockpile. It manages to finish off the Gabite. At this point the win is basically guaranteed. Psychic on Rhyhorn, Stockpile for next turn, and sure Metang is Horn attacked, but Steel typing is really showing why it's the MVP. 35 out of 141 max HP, after several attacks and Hail Chip. And look at Rhyhorn. 1 HP, poisoned, alone and afraid. One last Psychic puts it out of its misery. A scary round 1, but we secured the win. Round 2 has Joey, a Fire-type trainer. He picks up so many water-weak Mons, I willingly put Bibarel in my team. My 2 Fire-types lead until 1 faints, and we can safely bring in Bibarel. A little dicey since we're fighting Combuskin, but it only slashes us, and now it's basically GG. Waterfall and Rock Throw proved to be too much and quickly win us round 2. Battle 1 and 2 felt like both ends of the spectrum here, panicking about accidentally picking my Pokemon to willingly slotting it in after seeing just how weak the opposing team is to it. It's pretty fun playing this by ear. Battle 3, it's the first time I pick 4 Pokemon where none of them are mine, so we can afford to chill out a bit and play it more recklessly with them. It's an ugly battle with weak attacks, my Wigglytuff freezing, Protect stole Roselia with Black Sludge, until we bring in Butterfree with Compound Ice Sleep Powder, essentially just Spore, constantly putting the foes to sleep, and it really just let us cruise to victory at the end. Battle 4, the trainer uses both Metapod and Unknown. That's great as long as we don't accidentally pick them. We don't, though we end up bringing our Bibarel and Rhyhorn, but our opponent brings Metapod as a lead slot. Should be simple enough. Ignore Metapod and focus down the other Pokemon. It takes a bit of time, but we feint all but the Metapod. Metapod may be at +6 defense, but it will crumble. Eventually.
Solid hit. Oh, bad. Slammed him. It went down.
Round 5, I accidentally bring 2 of my Pokemon, and this time they're both in the lead slot. The lead matchups look a bit rough, but I'm assuming this Monferno is like one I used earlier, aka only has Fury Swipes. It's risky, but it pays off. Turn 2, we can take out both Pokemon, sustaining some damage but nothing lethal. Now with B-Barrel and Chimchar in the field, it seems like prime time to switch out Metang, predicting a fire move. Drain Punch, ensuring a 2-hit KO on B-Barrel is as good as we could hope for, and our switch in, Butterfree, barely tanks both attacks. Next turn, Lopunny Drain Punches for the KO, and luckily Chimchar misses the Fury Swipes. Then Butterfree Silver Winds for a bit of chip damage. Before Butterfree faints, we swap out into Wigglytuff. This is to let us get a Continue, which probably won't be useful, but we might as well have. And then a crit Dizzy Punch KOs the Chimchar. Round 6, we've made it to the semi-final, and this time I brought 3 of my Pokemon. But I'm feeling rather confident as the matchup overall looks solid. And to be honest, yeah, one of the easiest fights in this Colosseum by far. Not even our Charmeleon faints. Keeping Pidgeotto alive definitely helped, since I knew it would only have awful moves, like a Pidgeotto always does, Twister and Gust. Wow. Colosseum leader Rosie. She has a bunch of grass types, plus Beautifly and Delcatty. First 3 we pick are her Pokemon. If we pick her Roselia or Beautifly, then it's a safe fight. Okay, never mind. Now we gotta lock in. Rhyhorn I know will have some use in an upcoming Colosseum, so losing here would really suck. We also have scary Pokemon to deal with, mainly the Lopunny and resists everything Metang. As long as we win and Rhyhorn is left alive, that's all we need. Analysing our team, Delcatty seems okay. Pre-Fake Out turn 1 is great. Sunflower could turn into a one-shot machine with Sunny Day, Solar Beam and Solar Power, and Weeping Bell could do some good work with Ring Out. An odd move, but it has more base power the more HP the opponent has. In Gen 4, at full health, it's 121 base power. For Battle Revolution standards, that's pretty good. And then Rhyhorn, we've already seen him before. Turn 1, Fake Out Lopunny and Sunny Day with Sunflower. Her Skiploom uses Solar Beam. But since it moved before we set up the sun, it still takes 2 turns. Turn 2, Lopunny Defense Girls, thank you. Skiploom Solar Beam deals nearly half damage, which is a bit scary, but Delcatty's Payback almost one-shots it. Speaking of one-shotting, Sunflower absolutely wrecks Lopunny with Solar Beam. Then she switches Metang in. Turn 3, Skiploom misses Sleep Powder, we're getting quite lucky, and Delcatty faints it with Feint Attack. Metang uses Takedown on Sunflower and brings it low, but not before we get up another high-powered Solar Beam, bringing it down to roughly a third. Rosie then sends out her last Mon, Beautifly. A lucky crit with Payback from Delcatty already brings Beautifly to the red, but as expected, Sunflower's time is up. Silver Wind takes it out, bringing in Weeping Bell, and while our options aren't great for Metang, victory seems close. Thanks to the sun activating Weeping Bell's Chlorophyll ability, it gets to attack first, and Grass Knots Metang, taking it into the red. Delcatty Feint attacks Beautifly, finishing it off. Metang retaliates with Psychic on Delcatty, but now we can bring in Rhyhorn, and the start of the next turn, all that's needed is one last Grass Knot to KO Metang. With that, Colosseum 3 has been cleared. What I thought was going to be a relaxing Colosseum turned out to be the scariest one so far. Too many battles were cutting it close. Somehow we didn't lose a single Pokemon though, but the AI and enemy Pokemon are only going to get better and stronger from here. Before Colosseum 4, we spruce up our avatar. With all the points we've earned, we've renamed our passive choice to, well, Rory, and need to decide what our next team will be. Next up is Crystal Coliseum. It takes place in a cave lit up by crystals. It uses the double battle format, which scares me. It will be very important to have a team that synergizes well with each other. My hunch is that since it's a cave, we can expect a fair share of rock, ground, and steel types, and I recall maybe some ice types too. Also, all I remember is the boss has an Elekid, so let's have something to resist that. Here's my team: Staravia, Blossom, Lumineon, Mightyena, Monferno, and Rotom, with a fair amount of raw power, 2 Intimidators, 2 Protect users, and Rotom with Reflect. I'm thinking we have a fairly balanced team here. Crystal Coliseum functions like a single elimination top 16 bracket plus Coliseum leader finale, which means instead of the usual 7 trainer Coliseum, it's only 5. The rounds follow a certain pattern. For example, round 1 we always fight Larissa, round 2 it's either Linda or Hayden, so who we fight is randomized from which NPC wins their battles. Semi-finals though, it could be any of the 8 trainers on the right hand side. Larissa first, her team is a bunch of fire and fighting weak Pokemon, so leading Monferno is a no-brainer. Second out is Staravia. I think an immediate Intimidate will be one of the best opening strats in general. Leave one Pokemon alive and gang up on the other. If that other Pokemon is also intimidated, then it'll make our job that much easier. Third we bring Mightyena, mainly for Intimidate and Fire Fang, and Rotom fourth to help against Celio. Larissa leads with Delibird and Rhyhorn. So we U-turn out with Staravia into Mightyena, and can now leave Rhyhorn alive with it doing pitiful damage, and a quick Fire Punch easily one-shots Delibird. Next she sends out Celio, not what we wanted to see, but being able to gang up on it. We bring it down to red and it goes for a track. Yep, sort of what I was expecting. Next turn we take it out, and a misplay on my part means I Fire Punch the Rhyhorn. Larissa's final Pokemon is Castform, which I'm expecting uses moves like Ember and Powder Snow. Probably isn't scary, but no need to target Rhyhorn just yet. As expected, it Powder Snows, freezing Monferno. Coupled with Rhyhorn's Horde attack, it's about time we switch out. There's no way I'm letting Monferno suffer the same fate Grottle had. We switch for Rotom, and this time the AI targets Mightyena. Crit Tackle from Castform actually causes me to fear for Mightyena's life slightly, and Horn Attack brings it down to an uncomfortable amount of HP. No matter, we can outspeed and take out Castform next turn with Charge Beam and Bite.
The move fails.
Lightning Rod Rhyhorn! And Bite isn't enough to take it out. Thankfully we aren't really punished due to Bite flinching, but now Mightyena's HP is too low, so we swap back out into Staravia. Ominous Wind takes out the Rhyhorn and Castform Powder Snows again.
It hit 2 Pokemon at once.
It crits. My god, never has a Castform struck such fear into my heart. Critting everywhere, with weak moves, dealing more damage than you think. So far, no crits have been lethal, but it really feels like only a matter of time. Anyway, we outspeed next turn, miss with Charge Beam, of course, but we finish it off anyway with Aerial Ace. Not a pretty first battle at all. To be fair, this was the first battle of my second stream, so I was still warming up. By the way, I stream this on YouTube, and we'll be doing more challenge runs in the future. Just FYI, in case you're interested. Battle 2, Linda beat Hayden, and she has a bunch of rock types, something our current squad handles very easily. Leading with Monferno and Blossom, we can make quick work of her team, though they do focus fire on Monferno, and we switch out on the final turn, just in case some nonsense happens. Very easy battle contrasted to Battle 1. Round 3 we're against Carla, who we have a brief scare with Silverwind Butterfree into Mightyena, but otherwise the fight goes fine. Round 4, the tournament final, we battle Marcus, who uses Pokemon exclusively weak to grass moves. Blossom has a field day and we easily secure the dub. Now we've reached the true final, Colosseum leader Voldon, and his team is scary. I recall his Rotom having either Shadow Ball or Thunderbolt. Onix though, be my guest. After a lot of deliberating, the team is Staravia plus Mightyena lead for double Intimidate, and Blossom and Monferno in the back. Voldon leads with Metang and Rotom, one of the worst matchups we could see. Metang's clear body ability blocks our Intimidates and Rotom is scary. At least we have Mightyena to bite it, but we'll need to hard switch Staravia out to Blossom, fearing some sort of electric move. Turn 1, Metang bullet punches Mightyena for about a quarter of its max health, and swapping out Staravia into Blossom turns out to be the correct play, as Rotom shockwaves. Mightyena's bite, despite being modest, one-shots Rotom. Voldon sends out Carnivine, which gets
Slime by Sludge Bomb.
Then his last mon is Onix. You love to see it. Perfect time to protect a Mightyena, predicting Metang to bullet punch the third time. Energy Ball easily wipes out Onix, and now we just have Metang in our way between victory. To play it safe, we swap Mightyena into Monferno, set up the sun with Blossom, and next turn go in for the kill, knocking it out with Fire Punch. A scary battle on paper, but we got through it just fine. We've had a few scares here and there, but I'd say we've been cruising through this game. The next Colosseum places us in a pleasant Pokepark, popular with people and Pokemon. Using the double battle format, 6 battles before the leader, the only thing I remember is that the Colosseum leader uses Plusle and Minun, and there's electric types used throughout. Using that limited knowledge, we change up our team. Well, all we do is replace Lumineon with Rhyhorn. Its ground typing and Lightning Rod should do good here. The first trainer we fight, Tasha, has 2 electric types, in Luxio and Flaffy, and Metapod for some reason. Great game design. She doesn't lead with Metapod, but it's a solid matchup for Staravia and Mightyena. They take out Combusken easily, then she brings in Delcatty, Next turn we target her Weeping Bell when Delcatty Protect, and we U-turn into Rhyhorn when our final Pokemon, Flaffy, makes its appearance. Delcatty goes down easily, then Flaffy follows soon after. Nice and easy first battle. The AI barely dealt any damage to us. Round 2's trainer has a diverse array of Pokemon types. It seems a bit scary, but they must have all had bad movesets, as instead of attacking, they spent their turns debuffing. Well, Wigglytuff did fling, dealing 8 whole HP of super effective damage to Rotom. Easily moving on to round 3, the leader in training Patrick, who uses terrifying threats like Unknown, Bronzor and Skiploom, though he actually leads with his better Pokemon. Shame for him, our lead hard counters his, and his back Pokemon Skiploom and Bronzor weren't enough to turn the tides. So far 3 battles without any struggle. Round 4 they have Luvdisc and Silcoon. We do see Luvdisc, but he brought his better bug Butterfree instead, which brings Mightyena fairly low, but we get the win before needing to switch out. Round 5, Passionate Rider. Yes, again, we see a Butterfree and Wigglytuff. It's odd how much this Gen 4 game loves reusing the same Pokemon over and over again. There's over 400 Pokemon to work with. It would be nice to see a little more variety. This fight involved a lot of switching around for Intimidate, and the Wigglytuff seems to be getting stronger. They're using moves like Drain Punch. It wasn't scary at any point, but it did drag on a bit longer than the first 4 fights, and a longer fight increases the odds of being hit with a lethal crit. But still, an easy win this time. Round 6, Ian, who uses a whopping 4 electric types, plus Celio and Delibird. This has got to be where the Rhyhorn pick pays off. We lead Mightyena and Monferno though, and have Rotom and Rhyhorn in the back. They send out Celio and Luxio, potentially his strongest options. I'm glad I didn't lead with Rhyhorn now, but Celio is Monferno's only scary matchup here, so it's unfortunate we see it right out of the gate. Some useful info is this Luxio did not intimidate us, so it has the rivalry ability, which, since it's the opposite gender here, makes its attacks 3/4 their usual power. On top of being intimidated, it shouldn't really be a threat. So ignore Luxio and bite Celio hoping for a flinch. Then Sunny Day to weaken water attacks if it breaks through. Luxio substitutes. Celio uses Growl, which doesn't save it as a bite plus Grass Knot still KOs it. Luxio sparks into Mightyena and we can see just how little damage it's doing, about 1/6 of its max HP. Sent out to replace Celio is Plusle. Rhyhorn switching in for Mightyena, and we can see Lightning Rod taking effect already, with Luxio Spark being redirected. Plusle, seemingly longing for death, helps us by giving Monferno an Encore to Fire Punch. Taking out Luxio next turn, and lastly Ian sends in Delibird, which probably just has Present, but we switch Monferno out in case of any flying move, maybe Air Release Hustle. Then KO it with Fire Fang, and lastly Plusle goes down to bite next turn. With that, round 6 has been secured. Overall, great lead up to the Colosseum leader. And the leader is Sachet, who uses Plusle and Minun, Castform, Cherrim, Lopunny and Shuckle. Lopunny and Cherrim probably are the strongest. I don't think Castform can do anything crazy, and I'm assuming the Electric Twins get utterly shut down by Rhyhorn. And Shuckle is Shuckle, so should be okay. We bring Blossom for a great neutral matchup with Energy Ball and can Sludge Bomb the Cherrim. And Mightyena for early Intimidate. Rhyhorn for the Twins, and Monferno for powerful Fire Punches. And Mach Punch for the normal types. She leads with Plusle and Castform. Immediately I swap Mightyena to Rhyhorn, shutting down any electric move out of the gate. Except Plusle uses Helping Hand, boosting Castform's next attack. It uses a No Weather Weather Ball, targeting Blossom, dealing maybe a quarter to him, and he retaliates back with a powerful Energy Ball, taking it down to a third. Turn 2 starts the same, with Helping Hand Weather Ball into Blossom, except it crits us. A little scary, but we do still tank it. Then another Energy Ball knocks Castform out. Rhyhorn digs, preparing to strike the Castform slot next turn. Sachet now sends out Shuckle. No idea what it has, but I highly doubt it's anything super stolly. It's a little risky with Blossom's low HP, but we decide to stay in. Which looks like it'll work out okay, as Plusle again, Helping Hands, and come on, it's Shuckle. What's it gonna do with its attack stat? Before it attacks, we gang up with Energy Ball and Dig, taking Shuckle to a little under half. And what does Shuckle use? Gyro Ball. Even Helping Hand boosted, that did, what, 10 HP? Next turn, Plusle is still powering up Shuckle, and Blossom is getting dangerously low, so we might as well protect for a turn. Rhyhorn sets up for another dig, ensuring Shuckle can't hit either of them this turn. Now at this point, we should switch out Blossom. Monferno and Mightyena are both on full HP, and both could work here, so I end up switching Monferno for its higher damage output. Now you guys want to see how much a powered up Gyro Ball does to Rhyhorn? That's some serious super effective damage right there. It'll only take another 14 turns to kill him, but Gyro Ball only has 5 PP anyway. So you think we're out of the woods? Guess again. Plusle mixes it up with a Sing. That hits, putting Rhyhorn to sleep. We let Monferno set the sun to tear through her team next turn. And Shuckle is just being a Shuckle. He's doing his best. Please, let's all be nice to him. Now Monferno goes all out, fire punching the sun. That Shuckle barely tanks. This thing refuses to die if nothing else. But we also get a burn on it. And Shuckle in its infinite wisdom targets Monferno, and just look at that damage output. Thanks Shuckle, now have a good rest. Oh, well okay, suffer one more turn then I guess. We can now gang up on Plusle and maybe get 2 KOs this turn, and only have to deal with Sachet's final Pokemon as a 2v1. One last helping hand from Plusle seals its fate with a sun boosted Fire Punch, knocking it out from full health. And as a bonus, Rhyhorn wakes up, Horn attacks, denying Shuckle the tiniest of chip damage. Now no matter what she sends out, we should be fine. And she brings out Minun. I'd say that's GG. Minun does outspeed though and attacks with Trump Card. It's a very odd move that is only decent when the user has low PP. At the moment it's 40 base power move, that's normal type, which bounces right off Rhyhorn. Fire Punch brings Minun nice and low, and Rhyhorn finishes the job with a Horn attack. And that's it. Another clean sweep of a Colosseum. 5 out of 9 done. We're officially over the halfway mark with only 1 death, only due to unlucky RNG, might I add. At this point I'm feeling confident. Little did I realise the sort of late game that was awaiting for me. Next up is a Colosseum that we will barely mention. Sunset Coliseum. The gimmick is, you don't use your rental Pokemon, you use rental Pokemon. Like double rental, like a Battle Factory sort of thing. As such, you can't really do this as a Nuzlocke format. So this is a safe Colosseum. I could just cruise through at my own pace. Well, I won't exactly cruise through. Look at the Pokemon the game was giving me. Victory Bell with Sweet Scent, Acid, Swords Dance, and Attract. And remember, this is Gen 4, so Acid is a special attack. There's also Monferno, except the gimmick is, it's absolutely awful. Fire Spin, Fury Swipes, Leer, and Torment. The Pokemon do get better as you progress through the place, but overall it's sort of a fun idea on paper, as when you look over every Pokemon you can know what moves, items, etc. the opponent has if you research properly. But it's not that good in execution as you end up with a bunch of speed tie mirror matches. So I'll spare you from seeing much of this place, but we end up winning every match in our first attempt. Final match was a bit annoying, but we scored the dub. 6 out of 9 Colosseums down, great. Before we head to the next Colosseum, we have 2 more battle passes to unlock. The first is Joel, who has a Machoke with Quick Claw and 100% accurate dynamic punches, which should be incredible. Could clutch a victory that is otherwise hopeless. The Sudowoodo that's not great, not awful, could have a niche. Then Piloswine, having Stab Earthquake is awesome, pairs well with a Levitator or Flyer, or Protect user. It could do quite nicely in double battles. There's Hypno, stat-wise very solid, Leftovers recovery is amazing, 7% accurate hypnosis is certainly usable, and we have solid move coverage. Great special tank as well. There's Camerupt, which could be alright in singles. Solid Rock and Pasho Berry means for 1 turn, it only takes 1.5 times damage from water, as opposed to 4 times, or 3 times with Solid Rock. In doubles, this thing needs to be paired with a Protect partner to function offensively. And lastly, Muck. With good stats, passive recovery, a setup move in Curse, as well as great neutral offense in Brick Break and Shadow Punch, this could be an awesome setup sweeper. Overall, great new additions here. Now the other battle pass. Natalie, or should I say, fresh woman Natalie? What does that even mean? She's not a heckin' lettuce in the supermarket, okay? Now, as I was saying, her pass it's unique. We have Seadra, going for a bit of a modern Kingdra auto crit set, except it's Seadra, and it isn't auto crit, it's a 1 in 3 chance, after using Focus Energy. You're banking on crits to deal big damage, otherwise it's very mid. Togetic, same sort of principle as Seadra, bank on RNG to give you Omni Boost and dodge with your item. It's a shameful set, that even at +2 stats, it can lose 1v1s. Then there's Light Ball Pikachu. Light Ball does turn Pikachu into a glass cannon. Problem is, its offensive stats don't become good enough to one-shot most things, and Pikachu will crumble to the smallest of hits. It probably would have died to that Gyro Ball Shuckle. We've got Dugtrio. Every move here is so RNG based. King's Rock flinching is handy and all, but yeah, I'm sure you see the problems with this pass in a Nuzlocke setting, but at least it has a good nature. We have a tank, Vespiquen. I kinda like this. It has a great healing move, a great stab move, 90 base power, high crit ratio. I'll take it. Lastly, there's Cherim. The Pokemon screams double battle support mon. Not too great in singles, but the Flower Gift ability boosting attack and special defense by 1.5 times for itself and partner Pokemon maybe a Sun team would be a viable option for the next double battle Colosseums. So Natalie's pass overall isn't great, but has some interesting picks that we could make use of. So next up, it's Magma Coliseum, and I recall there being a fair amount of rock ground Pokemon. It's a single battle format, 6 battles total, bring 6, pick 3. It's technically a round robin tournament format. So the team I made for this place is Lumineon, powerful surf and controlling weather with rain dance sounds good, Blossom for support against the rock ground types, Sandslash as a physically defensive option that appreciates the matchups, Mightyena for intimidate, Metang, honestly I'm not sure why I picked it now that I'm talking about it in post, and Haunter. I love Haunter, but I know this is the final single battle formatted Colosseum, and I think that's the best and safest time to use him. I don't really want to bring him into the double battles. Also, having a fast, powerful special attacker that can put Pokemon to sleep, use Giga Drains on the rock and ground type should do good here. Round 1 it's Lawrence, and look at that team. Lumineon sweeps, Blossom deals with the Marshtomp if we really need it. Not even going to show you this battle, as it was over in a flash. Round 2 a little tougher, but Mightyena's Fire Fang and Ice Fang is super effective on all 6 of her team. Metang in the back to resist everything, and Lumineon third to surf anything that's not Victreebel and Snover really. Snover comes out, gets Fire Fanged, Gligar next, and I'm a bit paranoid because someone mentioned Guillotine is a move they can get. So we swap into Lumineon and surf it down. Okay, no problems. Lastly is Togetic. Honestly unsure what to expect here, so I switch into the Resistimol Metang. And Togetic wishes. Time for a bit of stall. Next turn we try a Metal Claw only to miss. Not Bright Powder by the way, just unlucky. And Togetic Metronomes.
What an impressive attack! That dealt some massive damage!
Whoa, I feel like that was hustle boosted. Thank goodness we have a good defense stat. Next turn Togetic uses Focus Punch. Please Batang, please don't miss. We should be good unless we miss, or Togetic Metronomes something stupid. Next turn Metal Claw takes it down to a third, and Togetic wishes. So a 95% chance we win right now, and it hits. Great, round 2 down, but when Metronome works, it is downright terrifying. Round 3, Lone Wolf Robert. Ooh, you're edgy, look at you. You look like a darn PE teacher that takes the kids' football game a little bit too seriously. Let's see what he's got. Honestly, team-wise, apart from Chingling, he's got a solid lineup here. We lead Blossom as they lead Pelipper. Not great, but let's ride it out to start with. Outspeeds and wing attacks. About what I was expecting, and it hits for about 1/3 max HP. Energy Ball hits them for just barely less than half. After some quick mental calculations, I switch into Haunter, knowing it will take a similar amount from wing attack, 40 HP or so, surviving even a crit. And then we can outspeed and one-shot with Sludge Bomb.
Starts to attack. Rushing blow. Taken down by an intense blow.
Right. Honestly, this AI is something else. I want to call it bad, as why would it Water Pulse Blossom? But I don't know, maybe there's something in the AI that compels it to use a different move, predicting the player will switch out after taking a super effective hit. Either way, I'm not pleased. Haunter was still the safer play, my strategy was solid, I swear! 2 deaths now, and after all that, we switch back into Blossom. Stuff it. At this point it's the best we can do. We tank wing attack and set up Sunny Day. Next turn, Energy Ball, and as predicted, Pelipper barely lives, and curiously, Pelipper Water Pulses again, in the sun. Well, next out Lumineon, we outspeed thanks to Chlorophyll, one shot with Energy Ball, and last is Chingling, which we knock out with Lumineon. Round 3 is down. Rest in peace, Haunter. So round 4 against Norman, and now we can't select Haunter for the rest of this Colosseum. We lead Lumineon into their Togetic, and the plan is simple. Rain Dance, Surf Spam. Surely we can take it out with that combination. It wishes turn 1, and turn 2 Surf deals about half of its HP. And here we go, another Metronome.
It fell asleep.
Only somewhat regretting my choice to Nuzlocke this right now. Togetic begins Rock Smashing. Couple of defense drops and we'll need to switch out. Look, I'll spare you this, but this matchup turns into a proper slog. Surf, Wish, Rock Smash, Rain Dance, etc, etc. Too many turns pass. Too many! But we do eventually knock this rotten egg out. Next out is Masquerain. With the rain still set up, we just stay in, knock it out without too much trouble. And lastly is Butterfree. Surf deals heavy damage. Silverwind almost knocks us out. Fairly confident we outspeed, but I'm a little bit rattled at this point. Switching into Sandslash. Welcome to the Nuzlocke, by the way, Sandslash. Tank 2 Silver Winds. Quite frankly, we're lucky it didn't crit or Omniboost, and then we take it out with Aerial Ace. Now it's round 5 against Christine, which our team gets fried by Luminion Blossom, and Mightyena in the back is a reliable choice. Luminion versus Masquerain, we take it out, but Luminion is brought down to 1/3 health. Next out, Grovyle. Easy Blossom swap here. Tank the Leaf Blade, retaliate with Sludge Bomb. Grovyle barely lives but gets poisoned and faints at the end of the turn. Last out is Gligar. We tank the hit, Energy Ball, and switch into Mightyena and Ice Fang to victory. After that, the finale of this round robin, Colosseum leader Terrell, with 3 fire starters, Grottle, Prinplup, and for some reason, just for the heck of it, Sandslash. We lead Luminion, wins 4 out of 6 of these matchups. Terrell leads with Grottle, the absolute last thing we wanted to see. We hard switch into Blossom expecting a grass move, but we're met with Body Slam. Damages us by 1/3. Next turn we outspeed, Sludge Bomb, take Grottle down low, and this time Grottle Iron Tails, taking off another 1/3 of our health. At least we outspeed and KO next turn, but that exchange wasn't great. Out second is Monferno. No choice here, immediate swap back out into Luminion, and Monferno Blaze Kicks. We surf as Monferno is frail, and setting up the rain could be a misplay if Terrell has Prinplup in the back. His last mon is Charmeleon. Seems pretty good for us, except it's Sunny Days, and reduces Surf's damage, tanking it with half HP left. And it has a Flamethrower, oh dear. It deals a scary amount of damage, and now my fear is if it barely lives and is knocked into Blaze range, it may sweep our whole team. So we Rain Dance. Though thinking about it, it may not really matter as Charmeleon outspeeds and could just reset up the sun next turn, which it does. Thankfully though, Surf does grab the KO. Seemed like it was a damage roll, and we escape with a victory that could have otherwise turned pretty ugly. Magma Coliseum is down, only 2 left with 2 deaths. I'm very sad about Haunter, but I wasn't planning on bringing it to the remaining Coliseums due to them being double battles. Well, 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 if it isn't the Colosseum with the worst gimmick that also makes Nuzlocking terrifying. Courtyard Coliseum. Double battle format, 7 battles, bring 6, pick 4, and the gimmick? There's a chance, I don't know the odds, but a fair chance of fog being applied to battles. What is fog for the uninitiated? Well, it's a weather condition I guess. It turns a move accuracy into 3/5 of what it usually is. So that means moves like Facade is now 60% accurate, and for example an 80% accurate move now becomes 48% accurate I think? If we're lucky, I've seen people only have the fog apply once or even 0 times during the whole Colosseum. Also of course, our opponents have Pokemon with moves that never miss, just to make our time here more miserable. So with this info in mind, we need to be very careful on our team selection. I ended up with Luminion, Piloswine, Machoke, Mightyena, Blossom and Pidgeot. No Guard Machoke will really help us here, and Aerial Ace on Pidgeot gives us 100% accurate attack. Bringing spread move users in Surf Luminion and Earthquake Piloswine also just increases the odds we don't waste a turn missing, which pair nicely with Blossom and Mightyena's Protect. And of course, Mightyena's Intimidate is incredibly useful. Overall, I think the team's cohesion is solid for this environment. Now it's just up to the game to play nicely. Round 1, we're against the Electric-type spammer Damien. We lead Piloswine and Mightyena to their Luxio and Rotom. All in all, decent matchup for us, but would you look at that. Battle 1, there's Fog. Turn 1, we Earthquake Piloswine and Protect on Mightyena. Rotom uses Double Team. Sweet mother of God, we need to knock this mon out right now. Earthquake, please hit. Great. Optimal turn 1. And Luxio's Roar misses because the fog muffles the sound or something. I don't know. Now regretting not bringing Staravia with its defog, not like I could even use it here with 2 electric types out. Rotom's threat level is shot through the roof, so we need to target with an Ice Fang and Bite, which Bite misses, and Rotom Ominous wins Mightyena.
But this is not a favorable matchup.
What is this? Oh dear lord, we are so screwed. And look here, Luxio Spark lands, bringing Mightyena down to half. Lastly, Piloswine's Ice Fang misses. We cannot land a hit to save our Pokemon's lives right now. At this point, I'm terrified. Mulling over my options, ultimately I decide to repeat my turn 2 play. Rotom's Ominous Wind lands again, and at +1 it's doing an alarming amount of damage to Mightyena. At the very least we land a Bite this time, dealing just over half health, until it heals with a berry of course. Ice Fang misses yet again, and Luxio's Roar lands, swapping Piloswine out into Machoke. That's okay, we can work with this. Turn 4, the never seen before Foresight is used. Rotom is tanky. I'd rather spend a turn getting Dynamic Punch up and running rather than relying on weak Ice Punches, and Mightyena can protect this turn before swapping out. Rotom targets Machoke, which it can't miss since No Guard is a double-edged sword, easily brings us down into the yellow at +1. Luxio targeting Machoke using Spark tips our HP into the red. I guess the AI was aware of Machoke's ability and capitalized on it. At this point both of my mons are at death's door, but I don't want to let any of them die, so I double swap back out into Piloswine and Blossom. Part of me is concerned this is a choke. Sometimes you need to let a Pokemon die to get your next one in safely. Doing what I'm doing risks a slow and painful death for everyone, but I'm greedy. We've made it this far with only 2 deaths. I don't want a 3rd or 4th round 1 of this hellish place. Rotom, immune to missing apparently. Ominous wins on Blossom. Not enough to 2-shot, but does an uncomfortable amount. And Luxio thankfully sparks Piloswine. I desperately need to take out this Rotom. A bit fortunate as Rotom finally misses, I think its last Ominous Wind. Blossom the MVP hits its Energy Ball, and Piloswine finally contributes some damage and lands an Ice Fang. Luxio still failing to land an attack makes this a perfect turn. Now Rotom has resorted to Thundershock, thank you for not having Shockwave, which misses. Luxio Captivates, which misses on both our Pokemon. Blossom also misses, and look at that, Piloswine misses. Well, doesn't that just sum up this Colosseum in a nutshell? Let's try this turn again, lads. Rotom lands its attack, and everyone else misses. Again. Okay, let's go again. Rotom lands, Luxio keeps missing. Blossom lands, striking Rotom down. We've slain the beast. And Piloswine misses again just for the meme. Next, Raichu is sent out. Just the matchup we were waiting for. Earthquake and Protect. Except, look at what Raichu uses. Flash. And it lands on Piloswine. Now, what is this, like a 40% accurate Earthquake? Unsurprisingly, Earthquake misses on both Luxio and Raichu. Okay, next turn, can't really switch at this point, so I guess we Energy Ball and pray. Piloswine can't Earthquake either, so we settle with Body Slam. Raichu Thunderbolts Blossom, bringing it to low health, and Luxio lands a Spark. Blossom is teetering on the edge, but thankfully avoids paralysis here. Of course we miss Energy Ball, then Body Slam. This next turn needs to go well, or it could be our first loss. Bell protects, Raichu flashes yet again, bringing Piloswine to -2, which basically means Piloswine is under double fog effect. 60% of 60% of 100%, which is 36% accurate Earthquakes, I think. Yep, we're screwed. Even got Captivated to throw salt in the wound.
Earthquake tears open the ground!
Oh my goodness, we needed that. We got so lucky. Both get knocked out. Now only 1 Pokemon left, Minun. There's still a problem though. Blossom is almost dead, but nothing wants to switch in, so we do something risky. Attempt the double protect, which is a 1 in 3 chance to work. We switch into Machoke, predicting the AI won't attack Piloswine. Protect works and Minun charms. Okay, that's fine. We swap back into Piloswine. Minun surprisingly uses Protect, which is perfect. We can safely protect an Earthquake next turn. We can win right now. Come on Minun, just die. Please, I beg you. And this is the battle that never ends. Next turn, Minun copycats our Earthquake. It lands but does absolutely nothing. We're still kicking. Energy Ball hits and Body Slam misses. Okay, just protect Earthquake now. We can end this, just land. Minun tries to copycat protect, fails, and Earthquake, it lands! Finally, we're free. We're free and we never even lost a single Pokemon. How did we scrape through this? How are we going to survive 6 more battles of this? No rest for the wicked. Round 2 has us fighting Daniela, who has a mono steel team. Could we have an easy battle? We lead Piloswine and Mightyena into their Mawile Bastiodon. And look, no fog. Complete contrast to Battle 1, we easily sweep our team with Earthquake and Protect. Feels good to completely clown on a trainer after that first round. Round 3 has a bunch of flying types. We lead with Piloswine and Mightyena to their Murkrow and Golbat. And the fog returns, oh goody. The battle is filled with misses, double teams, substitutes, but ultimately Ice Fang spam and the late game Pidgeot Air Ace overpowers our team. It was annoying but not dangerous like round 1. Round 4 has a team that gets demolished by Piloswine and Blossom. They try and cheese us with double team, but we're lucky to land Energy Ball turn 1. The Lairon doesn't seem to be too much of a threat with Mudslap, which we can swap out to reset the debuff if need be. After a handful of misses, we take out our Marshtomp, then Magneton, and lastly, Lairon. Now round 5 is a mix of ghost and fire types. Perfect time for Lumineon to surf and Mightyena to protect and bite. The lead with Magcargo and Charmeleon, and the fog appears once again. Can someone please tell me what the odds are for this place, please? Admittedly, this battle does go okay. It's another long one with swapping in and out, avoiding yawns, but there never was a threat of losing. Moving on to round 6, a lot of flying and fire weak Pokemon. Perfect time to lead Pidgeot and Mightyena. They lead with Vileplume and Wormadam, and for the second time, no fog. Let's speed through this battle and see how simple things can be. Wormadam protects, Pidgeot air laces, Mightyena Fire Fan crits and KOs, Wigglytuff switches in, air release, Wormadam faints, Mightyena bites, Wigglytuff flinches, Butterfree sent out, air release one-shots Butterfree, bite crit and flinch, Pidgeot facade crit, Wigglytuff KO'd. It's that easy. Well, we did get blessed by RNG. Clearly the game is trying to make up for that mess it gave me round 1. But now it's time for the big dog of this place, Colosseum Master Kruger. He has a good battle theme, though it doesn't particularly suit him and it's like 20 seconds long. For his team, he has Gligar, Pupitar, Victreebel, Gabite, Swallow and Hitmontop. A nice variety of types here, though a lot of Ice weaks. Leading Mightyena for the Elemental Fangs and Intimidate should be a good opener. Piloswine as the other lead, as it can handle 5 out of 6 team members. Pidgeot on the back for Hitmontop and Air Lace in case it's foggy. Lastly, Machoke Ice Punch works well, and Dynamic Punch is a decent option to confuse targets, particularly the Hitmontop. Kruger leads Hitmontop and Swallow, the last 2 Pokemon we wanted to see. Also, there's no fog, thankfully. It's risky, but I decided to stay in and attack despite both Pokemon being weak to fighting types. Earthquake Piloswine and protect Mightyena, hoping they target the doggy. And luck is on our side, as Hitmontop and Swalow's attacked get blocked by protect. The next turn, those moves could probably KO him. Piloswine's Earthquake deals a good chunk to both of Kruger's Pokemon. Next turn, my play is risky. I don't love the odds, but I really want to Earthquake again, so we swap Mightyena out into Pidgeot. Triple Kick lands all 3 times, Ice Beam targets Pidgeot, and there's no chance it can survive. Rest in peace, King. You've done well to make it this far, but now we're on 3 deaths. Earthquake KOs Swallow and brings Hitmontop down to the red. At this point, we bring Mightyena back out, get a second Intimidate off, as Kruger sends out Victreebel. Before we can take out Hitmontop at -2 attack, it Mach Punches Piloswine, dealing near half health. The Mightyena bites for the KO. Then Victreebel Sludge Bombs.
Slide by Sludge Bomb.
One shot. Poor lad never stood a chance. At least Ice Fang will knock out Victreebel. Or not. Wow, it barely lived. Well, this doesn't look good. At this point, we have to send in Machoke and hope it can live. Kruger sends out Gabite. 2 Ice Weak Pokemon, at least our matchup is good. The plan is simple. Ice Punch Victreebel, praying to get the 20% Quick Glow activation before it can Sludge Bomb, and hope Gabite doesn't have any OP moves, then Ice Fang it.
Quick Claw took effect. Slammed him.
The MVP, saving the day, and now Gabite Dragon Rushes, oh god. It misses, phew. And now Ice Fang lands and knocks out Gabite. Colosseum Master Kruger is down. And that's 8 out of 9 Colosseums completed. We really scraped through this place. 5 out of 7 rounds had fog. Round 1 was just horrible. The ones in between were mainly tedious more than scary. Kruger used his scariest Pokemon and almost did us in. If we lost, we'd need to go through the whole Colosseum again with a different team. And after the stress of that place, I ended my stream, took a week off, theory crafting my best teams to tackle the final Colosseum. Stargazer Coliseum, taking place on a meteorite. It's in a standard double battle format with 7 total rounds, bring 6, pick 4, and each trainer is a previous Colosseum leader, which is good and bad. We know their team's a bit better than random new NPCs, but their teams tend to be stronger than average. Well, the earlier Colosseum leaders still use weak Pokemon like Taylor with her Jigglypuff and Luvdisc, but the latter half of this place will be scary. I spent a lot of time theory crafting with my friend Shoal, and we made a few teams. I present to you the A team, with Cherrim, Monferno, Staravia, Rotom, Hypno and B-Barrel. A Sun team with Cherrim's Flower Gift helping the whole team out, with 4 physical attackers. Monferno having Sunny Day boosted, Flower Gift boosted Fire Punches can shred just about anything. Staravia's Intimidate and U-turns should help out a bunch on the physical side, as Flower Gift boosts special defense but not defense. Rotom with team support Reflect, and amazing typing and with a lot of resistances, as well as potential for setup sweeping. Hypno in the Sun with Cherrim will tank like a Blissey but be able to hit back hard enough and put things to sleep if need be. Lastly, B-Barrel, so we have a Fire, Water, Grass core. Water typing rounds off this team very nicely, We have a resist for almost every type except rock, which we can easily beat. But before we dive in, I present to you the B team. Their purpose is to scout the Colosseum, note down as much info as possible, win the whole thing if they can, but if not, give the A team more info to work with when it's their turn. We have Muck, high base stat total, setup sweeper with passive recovery, Camera Up for status spreading, and its spread moves can work well with Golbat or Blossom. There's Golbat for its diverse moveset, and U-turn. Machoke for high power, can't miss, can confuse. Also Quick Claw is clutch as we saw earlier. Wartortle for yawn, and having a water type is always good. Think about the Magma Coliseum leader. And lastly Blossom, proved to be an MVP throughout. High power energy ball, protect, sludge bomb, sunny day, chlorophyll. I like it a lot here. I'm not expecting them to win, but I'm not going in with the intention to lose either. Let's see what the B team can do. Starting off is Taylor, the person responsible for killing our first Pokemon, Grottle. Now I'm not really scared of her despite that, as it was just pure unlucky RNG on our end, and now we're using better Pokemon. We lead Muck and Blossom and she leads Jigglypuff and Bonsly. Do I even need to narrate this one? Skipping through turn 1, we've KO'd Bonsly and Taylor has dealt a whopping 1 hit point. Yeah, we easily win here, never coming close to lose them on. That is what you get, Taylor, for haxing us at Main Street Coliseum. Round 2, we're against Marina from Waterfall Coliseum, but this time it's not a 1v1. And I don't want to surprise you, but turns out Ledian, Marill, Farfetch and Corsola were no match for our team. As expected, we're cruising through the early rounds. Now in round 3, Rosie from Neon Coliseum. Her team is admittedly a little bit better, but most of them are weak to flying. We lead Golbat and Blossom, and she leads Delcatty and Weepinbell. Blossom's job is purely to beat down Delcatty, and Golbat to wing attack spam the other team members, as they're all guaranteed to be weak to it. The match goes by very quickly with no resistance on Rosie's end. Very rapidly we've made it to round 4, Voldon. This is where things get tough. Voldon leads Metang and Carnivine. Now Camerupt is a bit awkward in doubles with Magnitude and Lava Plume targeting our partner Pokemon as well, but we can protect turn 1 at least with Blossom, and then Lava Plume. Unfortunately, both Metang and Carnivine do target Camerupt here. She lives, Lava Plumes, which nearly KOs Metang, inflicting a burn as well, and nearly KOs Carnivine but doesn't get a burn. With Camerupt low health, we switch out into Golbat, tank a burn Metang's attack, and Bell Sludge Bombs Carnivine for the KO, and then Metang also faints from the burn. For Voldon's backline, he sends out Machoke and Rotom. I'd have preferred Onix, but oh well. We swap Golbat out into Muck to tank for a while, and Blossom Energy Ball should two-shot the Rotom. Machoke attacks. Poison Jab? Never would have guessed that. Thank goodness Blossom tanks that, and it didn't get poisoned either. I can see the path to victory now. Protect on Blossom. Shadow Punch Muck to KO the Rotom. Now at least it's a 2v1. Voldon, being a wise man though, predicted the protect and submissions on Muck. Okay. At this point we switch Blossom out into our full health Golbat and break the Machoke. We should win next turn now, except Voldon predicts again and Rock Slides. Bit of a scare there. Lastly, one wing attack from Golbat seals the deal, and we best round 4, albeit with multiple turns that could have ended in a death. But for now, we continue on. Round 5 is Magma Coliseum's Terrell, focusing on many water weak Pokemon, plus Grottle and Primplup. It's a risky play, but we lead Blossom and Wartortle. We want to see Sandslash or Primplup plus a fire type. Terrell instead leads with Grottle and Charmeleon. Scary, but it could work. Charmeleon goes first and Flint throws Bell. Thankfully the Occa Berry halves the damage, only taking him to half health. And also it burns him. We gang up on Grottle with a Water Pulse to make sure it's in KO range from Sludge Bomb, which the combination of the two does knock it out. Wilava comes next, so we protect with Bell and set up the rain. With Bell in critical condition, we switch in Camerupt to tank any fire move. Both Wartortle and Camerupt suffer some light damage, but in retaliation, the Rain Boost Water Pulse KOs Charmeleon. And now Terrell's 4th Pokemon, Primplup. Oh dear, I'm pretty sure this has Surf, and we've just set up the rain for it. After a few minutes of contemplation, we bite the bullet, staying with both Pokemon, accepting this may be the B team's downfall. We'll have a Crush Claws Wartortle, bringing it into Torrent. Water Pulse then easily one-shots it back, and it's just the Primplup left, which serves.
Soaked by Surf.
2 deaths in 1 turn brings the death count to 6. Now Golbat and Bell are sent in. We're not in the clear yet, I know Prinplup is slow, and at this point I'm just praying Blossom is faster. Golbat goes first, then Bell. Phew. Energy Ball knocks out Prinplup, and with that there's only 2 battles left. However, we only have 4 Pokemon. We have to bring Muk, Golbat, Machoke and Blossom. The only question is, in what order? For the semi-finals, we're against Sunset Coliseum leader Dusty. He uses Riolu, Grovyle, Vigoroth, Luxio, Gabite and Combuskin. All of his Pokemon have high base power stab moves here, and Vigoroth with Body Slam and Gabite with Dragon Rush in particular can deal heavy damage. We lead with Bell and Golbat. Bell can probably handle everything except Combuskin, which Golbat can deal with. Dusty leads with Vigoroth and Luxio. That Vigoroth scares me, so we target with a U-turn into Machoke to maybe Quick Claw Dynamic Punch on the next turn. Vigoroth Body Slams Machoke. Doesn't do as much as I thought actually, but does get the paralysis. Luxio sparks into Machoke and is already on dangerously low health. If it doesn't Quick Claw next turn, this may spell the end for her. Lastly, Bell's Energy Ball brings Vigoroth low. Next turn, I'm ready to say goodbye to Machoke. Except Quick Claw, but paralyzed, and a crit Body Slam seals her fate. Rest in peace. Luxio attacks next with Ice Fang, taking Bell down to almost half. No flinch or freeze at least, and Bell KOs Vigoroth. Next we send Muk in with a plan to set up some curses, and Dusty brings in Combuskin. For the turn being, Bell can protect and Muk get a quick curse in. Dusty, seeing red, gangs up on Bell, only to be blocked. But now we face a problem. If Bell stays in, it probably dies, but Golbat is weak to Luxio's attack. I value Golbat a bit less, so we switch it in and hope for the best. Luxio sparks, taking Golbat low, and then Combuskin Air Release finishes it off. 8 deaths. Muk at +1 attack brings Luxio to the brink by brick breaking, and we send back in Bell. At least Bell can protect again, and as luck would have it, Dusty tries to gang up on Bell, while Muk finishes the Luxio. Dusty's final mon is Gabite. To be honest, I forgot there was still another Pokemon he had in the back. Dusty's Gabite uses Dragon Rush, and misses? Hold up, there's a chance. Combuskin Crush Claws Bell, which he tanks. Bell sets up the Sun to outspeed next turn, and Muk Brick Breaks Combuskin. Not enough to KO, but does put it into Blaze range, if it even has any fire moves. Next turn, Protect on Bell and Gabite digs. Combuskin tries to Crush Claw again, but is blocked, and Muk takes out Combuskin with Brick Break. The question is, who is Gabite targeting? Bell might live, maybe, but it is at -1 defense right now. Luckily, Gabite digs and hits Muk, with +1 defense only taking it down to half, and in retaliation, Brick breaks Gabite down to a quarter. I don't know how, but it looks like we squeaked out a victory, with Bell outspeeding and KOing with Energy Ball next turn. I'm so proud of these two, defying the odds and keeping hope alive. But now with only Bell and Muk left, I have to lead with them into the next battle, and if one of them faints and I switch into a dead Pokemon, then this attempt becomes illegal and I'll have to forfeit the match. The chances are very, very slim. Basically everything would need to go perfectly, but we might as well try. So the grand finale of Stargazer Coliseum. The final boss is Mysterial, the Poketopia Master. His team consists of Golbat, Dragonair, Whiscash, Haunter, Kingler and Chansey. So what team composition could he use that allows a path for victory for Muk and Bell? Well, I'll take Whiscash and Haunter, both probably get one shot by Energy Ball and Shadow Punch respectively. Then Chansey would drop to a Brick Break, I assume. And lastly, what? Maybe Dragonair? Kingler could be good as well, since it would instantly lose to an Energy Ball, but it would outspeed us. At the end of the day, all we could do is our best and pray it's enough. If one of our Pokemon faints though, we lose. I really don't think it's that likely, so whatever. We'll try it. Chansey's not bad either. I do know Chansey's set. Kind of. It's something like Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, stuff like that. And that would actually be really good, considering we have good Speed F, and Chansey's only got 35 special attack.
The strongest trainer in Poketopia, the one who stands above the Colosseum Masters, is now entering.
It's showtime. Could be worse. Could be better.
Full of energy, so we're sure to
Curse
see a
up.
great battle.
Yeah, with good luck. I think we have to protect turn 1. Hope they go for a Blossom here.
The stage is set and the curtain is up. Blossom protects itself.
Please, please, please. They missed? They protected.
Blossom
Okay.
protected itself from the attack.
Giga Impact? Protected itself. Good start. We're already the slowest Pokemon, so who cares? I think we Air Slash now. Not Air Slash. We
Air in the Colosseum
We Shadow Punch now because we can't set up for too long. We just can't do it. We Shadow Punch the Golbat at least. We Energy Ball the Kingler. We don't outspeed. Oh, we're probably gonna die here unless we get lucky and miss or something. But cool. Wow. Missed?
Kingler still
Please!
pull off a move. That's
We
a
live
hit
that
this
easily.
time.
Yep. It's not good Speed F or special attack. And we didn't
Energy ball
even
hits.
get flinched. Kingler's got bad Speed F, so I knew we'd one shot there.
Huge amount of damage.
Oh my god.
It's down.
Haunter turn 2. Send out Haunter. We Shadow Punch one shot it, please. And we're gonna protect again.
A fierce blow. Golbat barely holds on.
The luck? Haunter!
Is sent out.
Go! Shadow! Protect. Oh my god. This is what we need. Please. Please, the dream!
Awesome. Protects itself.
The unlikely combo. Oh!
The move can't hit the opponent.
Yes! Yes! This Haunter's gonna die. There's no way Haunter doesn't die here unless it's got like Shadow Reduce Berry. Come on.
Big hit.
Hold on!
A huge amount of damage. It's down.
Last Pokemon, what do we need? We need Whiscash or something like that.
Whiscash is sent out. Well, both corners still have a chance to win this. Who's going to take the glory?
Shadow Punch Golbat. Want to use their Sludge Bomb there. Energy Ball. If we just get this off, we win.
Golbat
We knew this was going to happen.
That's a hit.
We knew we were going to live it. I don't know if we outspeed Whiscash though. We don't. We don't! No!
A gang attack. That
Oh!
barely holds on. A fierce blow. It's a direct hit.
We win next turn. We can protect and Brick Break it. We got
Slammed him.
the B team? The B team.
The red corner
Okay.
stands
Oh my
with their
god.
backs against the wall.
Please.
The rest is
Brick
up
Break.
to the
There's no way Whiscash can one shot. Like, if it's Earthquake, it's a spread move. You know what I mean? Like, we just, come on. Decked. I definitely clicked Brick Break, didn't I? Fight. Oh, hold on, back. Back. Brick Break. Whiscash. Fight. Protect.
Colosseum protects itself.
GG. GG well played. GG well played. GG well played. The B team! I'm so proud of them!
It's down.
Oh my god, I'm so proud of the B team! What the f? What the f? Here comes
The
Mug!
battle has ended.
That battle went perfectly. Never flinched. The Shadow Punch crit. Giga Impact missing. We lucked so hard that final battle, and guess what? Now we're champions. Muck and Bell, my respect for you two has grown immensely. Overall, I've thoroughly enjoyed my time playing Pokemon Battle Revolution. Nuzlocking it made me play very differently, and many regular opponents became terrifying gauntlets. I would recommend you try this for yourself. See if you can beat this game in less deaths than me. I'm sure if someone looked up every trainer battle, you could play much better than I did, but not knowing added so much more enjoyment. For a victory lap, I went back to Gateway Coliseum, where you can trade your Pokemon for the opponents permanently. The game, seemingly congratulating me for the victory, decided to let us battle against Marley, who has a shiny Love Disc. Now apparently that's a full odds 1 in 8,192. And we could only trade it if she used it, which she did, aka a 1 in 2. So you could say after getting absurd luck against the final boss, we also just hit a 1 in 16,384. Yeah, I'm just built different I guess. One awesome way to cap off the live stream. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let me know if there's any more sort of unorthodox challenge runs you think would be fun to watch, but have been barely touched on by the Pokemon community. I hope you all have a good day. I'll see you all later. Bye everyone.